Right. So good evening, everyone. Today, I thought of doing the accounting concept, chapter 5. Chapter 5, accounting concept. Right. So we have completed the prime entry books. This is the 5th chapter in the syllabus. Very simple. You need to understand some important areas in each of the concepts, accounting concepts. So what are these concepts? The accounting concepts are the assumptions. These are assumptions that are made in preparation and presentation of financial statements. Right? So all these are assumptions. When preparing financial statements, when we are preparing financial statements, we need to make some assumptions. Right? So why we need to make assumption is to have a uniform nature. To have a uniform nature. It should be consistent, comparable. The financial statement we prepare should have a uniform nature. Right. So there is a relationship between the accounting concepts and recording of transactions. Right. So we record the transactions considering the accounting concepts. We need to record the transactions considering all these accounting concepts. So there is a relationship among the accounting concepts and recording of transactions. So here under this chapter, we are learning some important concepts. So these are the concepts that we are going to discuss today. Business, starting from business entity concept, going concern, periodic concept, money measurement, accrual, consistency, substance over form, realization concept, matching concept, prudence, materiality, historical concept, and disclosure concept. So we will learn 13 concepts. So don't think too much on this. Even though there are 13 concepts, what you need to understand is the basic idea of each concept and some of the important examples. Right? What you need to know is the basic idea of the concept and some examples. That's it. Right? So I will explain one by one. Right? So once after I explain each concept, you can answer for the MCQ questions. Normally we will get MCQs on the concept, accounting concepts. And also there is a relationship between the transactions and concept and some transaction. Right? Most of the transactions, they are connected with several concepts. Not only one concept, it is connected to several concepts. For an example, depreciation is connected to matching concept, prudence concept, going concern, periodic concept, money measurement. Right? So once we discuss the concept, you can see the connection between the transaction and different concepts. So we will learn concepts one by one. So in between, if you all have any doubts, anything that you want to clarify, please tell me. I will further explain and clarify your doubts. Number one, first concept, always we start with the accounting entity concept. Accounting entity concept. The accounting entity concept means the business is treated as a separate entity from its owner. So that is why when we are learning the accounting equation. We learn accounting equation. Asset equals liabilities. Liabilities are divided owner's equity plus outsiders liabilities. Right? So we derive the equation asset is equals equity plus liabilities. The reason is whatever the assets the business has that has a liability for the business, right? Obligation to the business. So when the owner invests money to the business, business must repay that money to the owners. Right? So the example, owner's investment is a liability for the business. When the owner invests money, we increase the liability, and when the owner withdraw money, we decrease the liability. The importance of this concept is separating the business from the owners. Even though in a sole proprietorship, a single owner is running a business, so he will be handling everything. But when it comes to accounting, we have to keep the owner separate to the business. And also this is important for tax purposes. Business must pay tax separately without mixing with the owner. Right? For tax purpose, we need to have this entity concept. So simple examples. One is owner's investment is considered as a liability. Owner's drawings will be considered as a reduction in liability. And the accounting equation also another way of explaining the entity concept. Then number two. Number one is entity concept. Number two is accounting equivalent or dual aspect concept. So that is also from accounting equation we understand. Dual aspect concept means every transaction has an equal impact on assets and liabilities in such a way that total assets are always equals to liabilities. So it means dual aspect means every transaction has a dual impact. Here's a question. So can you explain tax purpose? Yes. Tax purpose means now right. So this is the owner and this is the business. Business will earn profit. Right? For this profit, they have to pay tax. Let's say the business earns a profit of 100,000. For this 100,000, they have to pay a tax 30,000. The owner, as an individual, he will also have, maybe he will get salary. He might have any other income sources, right? He might have a rent income, dividend income, right? So for his personal income, he need to pay his income tax, right? For the business must separately pay the taxes. So you can't combine these two and pay a single tax, because tax rates are different. And tax payment, now let's say owner is paying 30,000 tax and he consider all these income as well. You can't do that. So in tax you have to separate. Owner must pay his personal tax separately, and the business tax must be paid separately. That is why we call it tax purpose. So I hope it's clear. Then dual aspect. Every transaction has a dual impact. So in accounting equation, we have seen that every transaction affects two places: the owner's investment, purchases, sales, paying salary, paying electricity. Every transaction has a dual impact where asset equals capital plus liabilities. And owner's capital invested by the owner will increase the cash and increase the capital. Dual impact. The importance is this help to detect errors. So when you have a dual aspect, you can easily identify errors, because when the trial balance is not equal, we did error corrections. When the trial balance is not equal, that means the dual aspect is not properly done. So you can easily identify the errors, and it encouraged to post each entry in opposite side of two affected accounts. So accounting will be properly done and maintained. So it's easy to record the transaction, maintain the transaction, and detect errors, and there will be a proper system. And we will have an accurate statements for decision making. Dual aspect. Entity concept, dual aspect. And the third one is going concern. This is a very important concept, going concern. And also this is considered as underlying assumption. This is considered as underlying assumption. So there are some questions asking for underlying assumption in account going concern. So what is going concern? Going concern means we assume that we business for this term. Right? Going concern means we assume that we will continue the business for a long time, foreseeable future. That means we have no plan to close down the business. We have no plan to liquidate. Liquidate means closing down. Right? We will continue the business. So that's the reason. The main example for this is when we purchase an asset, when there is a liability, we can divide the asset or a liability as non-current and current. Let's say we are planning to close down the business. If we are planning to close down the business, then all the assets and liabilities will become current, because we have to settle everything. But when we are preparing accounts, we don't do that way. We consider non-current, more than 1 year. Assets will be used for more than 1 year. That is why we have non-current assets, non-current liabilities. So once we have the non-current asset, then we will depreciate. When we purchase an asset, when we purchase items which we are planning to use for more than 1 year. If we are planning to more than 1 year, we will depreciate. So depreciation is charged because of the going concern. Prepayments are carried forward. Approvals be under. Going concern assures that investors get income for their investment in future. Right? So therefore, the investors, they don't expect immediate cash payment. Due to the going concerns, once the owners are investing, once the investors are giving money to the business, they will wait because they know in future they can earn money. That is why most of the times, even though the business doesn't pay dividend, even though the business is not paying dividend, the investors, or the owners, they don't ask for a return, because the reinvestment, once the earnings are reinvested, in future they can earn more profits. So without the going concern concept, you can't run a business. Without a going concern concept, you can't run a business, because you will think, okay, next day I will close down the business. Next day I will close down the business. I can't pay my expenses. I have to settle the liabilities. So if you think like that, you can't run a business. So always long term. Why we start a business? Because we need to have return for the investment. So that is why people starting the business. Okay, there are some questions. Let me check. So this is underlying assumption is related to accounting equation. Underlying assumption, it comes for introduction part and also accounting framework, case 1 as well. Can you explain reinvestment once more? Reinvestment means, now let's say the business is having 1 million profit. 1 million profit. Right? So business can pay this to the shareholders as dividend. Then that is over. But most of the shareholders, most of the owners, they don't want to take the money back. They will reinvest. So 1 million again they invest. Let's say they can purchase a new machine, they can purchase a motor vehicle. Right? Then when the assets increases in a business, when it is reinvested, future income will be more. Right? So initial stages in a business, you take any business, and it could be Facebook, it could be Apple, right? It could be any business. Initial stages, the owners doesn't take the money back. They will reinvest. Why? Because of going concern. Because of going concern. So once you reinvest the money, in future you will have more return. Okay. Number 4. Number 4 is money measurement. Money measurement means accounting is done only for those transactions that could be measured in monetary terms. If there is a rupee value, rupees and cents, only those transactions will be recorded in the books. Money measurement. This is very important. Right? So, example, let's say an event of machinery breakdown is not recorded, but payment for repairing the machine will be recorded. The event machinery breakdown, we don't record it, because that doesn't have a monetary term. But if you pay for the repair, that will be recorded. So always, all the transactions should be measured. You should be able to measure in monetary terms. That is why, let's say, we have a manager. We have a manager with 20 years experience. He is the expert. He is bringing the business, right? So he is an asset for the business. But do you record? Have you ever seen in statement of financial position or income statement, we record the human resource? We don't record. Why? Because you can't measure how much is the value of this person. You can't measure. And also the value of data. So in statement of financial position, we have not seen data. But actually speaking, most of the companies nowadays, one of the most key asset for them is data. Right? Take Google. How do they become the #1 company in the world? Because of data. But in finance, if you can't measure in monetary term, how much, what is the value, you can't record. That is why nowadays we have different types of reportings. Right? There is another reporting like integrated reporting. Integrated reporting. Other than the financial statements, companies are preparing separate reports to show the human resource, human capital, and any other innovations, technology, right? Data analytics. So these will be shown separately. But in accounting, this could be a drawback as well, right? If you can't record, you don't take it into the accounts. Money measurement. So money measurement means only the transactions which you can measure in monetary terms will be recorded in the books. Right? Okay. So next, the significance, the importance is the importance of this money measurement is guide what to record and what not to record. So we know these are the things you should record, these are the things you shouldn't record. So you don't have any confusions. We don't have any confusions what to record and what not to record. And there is a uniformity. Uniformity. Easy to understand the accounts. Easy to compare with two periods or two firms. You can easily compare. There is a question. Everything under accounting comes under money measurement concept. Yes. Everything comes under money measurement. Right? Because accounting the starting point is transactions and events. So if you can remember, we did the definition for transaction. Definition of transaction. Let me see. The introduction. Class, I did transaction. Let me quickly show that. The transaction. Because accounting, the starting point, you remember, it's a function which provides financial information. Now, function means input, process, output. Then we did input. Accounting input is transactions and events. So what is a transaction? A transaction is exchange that is measurable in monetary terms. Measurable in monetary terms. So one of the key feature is measurable in monetary terms. A transaction. So accounting base starting from the transactions and events. Events also something changes that that are measurable in monetary terms that affects the assets, liabilities, and equity. So that's the key, the basic. Okay, so we move on to the next one. Yeah, event also comes, transactions and events, money measurement. All the transactions and events are considered under money measurement concept. Number 5, historical cost or cost concept. Historical cost. Historical cost means we have to record the transaction at the price paid to acquire it. The amount we paid to acquire it, that is the cost. Right? In our books, in the financial statements, we have to record the prices which we paid to acquire it. Right? There are different prices, different costs we can take. Now, when it comes to so when it comes to value of an inventory or an asset, there are 4 amounts will be taken. Unable to find it, I will show it later. So there are different prices that we can take. One is the purchase price, cost, right? Then there is a market price. Then we have realization price, realizable value. Right? So we don't record anything else. We take the historical cost. Why we take the historical cost? The reason is you have the verification, because the source documents will be available, supporting documents. So if you change the values, let's say you purchase the machinery for 1 million, right? So you will record the machinery cost in the financial statements. But let's say you are going to change the value to market price. Right? Market prices always it changes. It can increase or decrease. And if you are going to change always, it will be very difficult. And also you won't have a proper source documents. Once you pay for it, you will get an invoice. You will get a document for that. So you have the verification on that. And also you can calculate depreciation, right? And if there is a major change, then only you have to have a revaluation, right? So there are some questions. Let me check. So can you give some examples which doesn't affect money measurement concept? As I said, the human resource, human capital doesn't affect the money measurement. Is another question. Concept 5. So I'll repeat the historical cost concept. Historical cost means the asset will be maintained at the cost. In the statement of financial position, we maintain the asset at cost. The amount that we spend to acquire it. That if you, let's say, land, machinery, motor vehicles, right, all these values will be shown at cost. Right? Not the market price, not the realizable value, not any other prices. We show it at the cost. That is the historical cost concept. That is what you need to understand in that. There is another question. So what if we get a discount when purchasing? Do we consider the cost after deducting the discount or with the discount itself? You have to deduct the discount and get the final cost. Right? So when it comes to the cost, right? And when it comes to the cost of an asset, there are different types of costs. Right? So this is cost of inventory, right? We will learn the LKS standard separately, right? So when it comes to a cost, the cost has three parts: cost of purchase, cost of conversion, and other costs. So this is applicable not only for the inventory, for non-current assets as well. Then cost of purchase means the purchase price plus the import duties, taxes, transportation cost, handling cost, and deduct any trade discounts and rebates. The discounts will be deducted. And the conversion cost means to convert the asset, the material into the finished goods, or to convert what we purchased, the non-current asset, the PPE, into the usable condition. All the conversion expenses to incur, and also any special designing cost and borrowing cost, the interest. Sometimes we capitalize the interest, right? So it's a separate standard, and all these costs will be considered. Okay, so that's the answer for the cost. Okay, and there were some more doubts. So what if like a land is revalued, then it is under concept. Yeah, land revaluation also we consider. Land is revalued when there is a change. If it is revised, it comes under historical cost, land revaluation. We record at cost. If there is a change, then you have to do the change. That's if there is a revaluation, the price will change. Now, initially we record at cost. If you are changing, you can do the change. That comes under the LKS 8. Accounting policies, right? Changes in estimates and errors. That's a separate standard. If the revaluation or any standard, any policy can be changed if it is most suitable for the business. If it gives more clear picture about the financials of the company can change the policies, concepts, or anything else. But initially, they have to follow these concepts. For an example, initially, if they purchase a land, they have to maintain the land at cost. But later, they can do the revaluation if the revaluation gives them a clear picture about the business. At that point, you can do the change. You can have the revalued amount. But the cost concept says, initially, we have to maintain the assets at historical cost. Change is acceptable. Okay. So we did 4 concepts: entity concept, dual aspect, going concern, money measurement, cost, historical cost. The number 6, accounting period. Accounting period means we have to provide the information, we have to prepare the financial statement for a specific time period. Usually it's 12 months. Accounting should be prepared, accounting information should be prepared for a specific time period. The importance is you can take timely corrective actions and develop appropriate strategies for the business. You can clearly have your vision, mission, objective, and day-to-day plans. If you have the time period. Right? So every year, 31st March, we end financials. So you can have the stock count, you can complete all the accruals, prepayments, all these things can be done if there is a specific time period. And also its most important thing is for calculating taxes. So you have to end your financials for a specific time. So by end of that, you can pay the taxes. And taxes and analyze performance of the business. Last year, what is the performance? This year, what is the performance? Next year, what is the target? So you should have a timeline for that. And also you can distribute the dividends in a regular intervals. Regular basis, every year we can pay some dividends or return for the owners, investors. Accounting period concept means preparing the accounts for a specific time period. Number 7 is accrual. Accrual means income and expenditure shall be recognized as they are earned and incurred. Income should be earned, expenditure should be incurred. And we don't bother about money received and paid. We don't worry about the cash received. That is why income receivable will be recognized in the financial statements. Income receivable will be added. Prepayments will be deducted. Prepayments we carry forward to the next year. Receivables will be added. Right? Expenses accrual, expenses payable will be added to the current year expense. Okay. So here, money received or not, money received and paid is not considered. If the income is earned, you have to record it. If the expenditure is incurred, then you have to record it. Right? For an example, for January month, electricity bill. You are getting the electricity bill as 5,000. Even though you paid or not, that 5,000 is January month expense. January month expense. That payment can be done maybe next month or next year. That doesn't matter. We are not bothering about the cash payment. Importance is to know the actual income and actual expense during the particular time period. And it's important to calculate the profit of the business. Right? So since accrual concept, we can calculate the profit or loss relevant for a specific period, relevant for the year. That's the importance of accrual concept. Remember this, not money is received and paid, income is earned, expenditure incurred. Then number 8, realization. Realization means this is on revenue. Realization comes under revenue. Revenue should be accounted for only when it is actually realized, or it has become certain that revenue will be realized. Only when services rendered or goods delivered. Actual receipt of cash is not necessary. Simply realization concept means income will be recognized. Income will be recognized only when it is realized. For an example, let's say there is a customer. The customer comes to the business and he tells, okay, tomorrow I will purchase goods worth of 1 million. He will tell, tomorrow definitely I will come and buy. He confirms. Do you record that as an income? Is it a sales? If the customer comes to your business, he tells, tomorrow I will purchase 1 million worth of goods. Right? Do you record that as an income? He will tell, some do or die, I will buy. No, we don't record. Why you are not recording? Because it is not realized. It's a future income. It is not confirmed. If it is not confirmed, it is not certain, we don't recognize. Like we have a standard, revenue standard, further explain about the realization. And if the goods are delivered, yes, then we know that he has taken the goods he need to pay. That should be recognized as the income. If the service is given, if the service is rendered, then yes, you have provided, so that can be recognized as an income. Right? So future income. Future income we don't recognize. Future income we don't recognize. But if he pay an advance, you have mentioned advance is a income or a liability. Advance is an income or a liability. If the customer pays an advance, is it an income? No, right? It's a liability because you have not delivered the goods or you have not rendered the service. So advance is a liability. Advance, you will record it as a liability. Okay. Difference between accrual and realization. Accrual concept, it has income, expenses, both, and it says income is earned and expenditure is incurred. Realization concept, we mainly focus on the revenue, the income, the recognition, income recognition part. And it helps making accounting information more objective. Right? There are similar features in both. So, yes. So if the customer gives an advance, until we deliver the goods, it is treated as an advance. If we deliver the goods, if we provide the service, then only we categorize as an income. Right? So that's accrual concept, realization concept, and also now this is, we spoke about future income. How about future expense? Future expense, do you recognize? Future income, we don't recognize according to the realization concept. Future expenses, do you recognize future expenses? Yes, we recognize. What is the concept? What is the concept related to future expenses? That is prudence concept. Let me explain that. Prudence concept, conservatism concept. Examples, doubtful debt, right? And also net realizable value of inventory. So if we have a doubtful debt, what is doubtful debt? We have a debtor, we don't know whether he will pay or not. Sometimes he might pay, sometimes he won't pay. But we will make an expense for him. Doubtful debt. Like it's a future loss. All prospective losses should be taken into consideration. But no doubtful income should be taken into consideration in recording of transactions. So here, mainly focusing on future expenses. Examples, doubtful debt or warranty provision. Warranty provision, we make an expense. Future warranty claims, we have to make an expense. And if the net realizable value of the inventory, net realizable value means expected selling price is less than the cost. You purchase materials or you purchase your stock 100,000, and if you are planning to sell this at 80,000, buying at 100, selling at 80 due to damage or any other reason, due to the expiry or something, if you are selling at less than the cost, if you are planning to sell at less than the cost, you have to recognize the expense, you have to recognize the loss. So any future losses, prospective losses should be recognized according to the prudence concept. And any future income, we don't recognize according to the realization concept. Right? So prudence concept, realization concept, accrual concept. Revenue related to realization concept. Some transactions has several concepts. At the beginning I told here, some transaction not only one concept, it has different concepts. If you take stock, it has money measurement, prudence, matching, all concepts. Expenses will have matching concept, money measurement, accrual, periodic. Okay. I come back to this. So income, here income has Matching concept, periodic concept, money measurement, accrual, realization, both. Accrual concept, realization. There is a question: if the future expense is not incurred, if the future expense is not incurred, you can reverse it. You can set reverse the transaction, the provisions and all. That is why we have over provision, under provision, and over provision. So it's been done. Yeah, here I have said provisions are made for doubtful debt. Doubtful debt means expense, but no provisions are made for discount receivable. Discount receivable is an income. For income, we don't make provisions. Income provision. Only expenses we make the provision. Doubtful debt. Discount receivables, we don't make provision. Okay, right. Then we have the next concept, matching concept. Matching concept means we match the revenue with the relevant cost. We have to match the income with the relevant expense. Two main examples, the depreciation and cost of sales. Right? Income should be matched with the expenditure incurred to generate that income and calculating the profit. Now let's say this example. We are purchasing 10 books at 10 rupees. We purchased 10 books at 10 rupees each. And we are selling 6 books. This is purchase and sales at 15 rupees each. What is my profit? Tell me how much is the profit. Am I earning a profit or a loss? And how much is the profit or loss? Here my expenditure, my payment is 100. Here the income is 90. Now the question is, am I earning a profit or loss? And how much is my profit or loss? So here we can't take 90 minus 100. Right. So how do you calculate the profit? Profit equals income minus expense. So what is the income? Income is sales, which is 90. Then the expense is not 100. 100 is not the expense. What is the expense? The cost of these 6 books. because you will have the remaining 4 books, you will sell that later. Only 6 books were sold. Another 4 books are remaining and you will sell that maybe in next month. Therefore, the sales should be compared with the cost of the sales. Cost of the sales is 60. So the profit is 30. Like you purchase at 10 rupees and selling at 15 rupees. So you won't make a loss. From 6 books, you will make 30 rupees profit. So the income is compared with the relevant expense. Expense relevant for this income. What is the cost for 6 books? You compare income with the relevant expense and not all the payments. That is why what we call matching concept. So what is matching concept? The income should be matched with the expenditure incurred to generate that income. Right? So this example clearly explains that. Right? So cost of sales, depreciation also we consider under matching. When we purchase an asset, it is not considered as an asset. It is not considered as an expense. When we are using the asset, we consider the usage as the depreciation. So it comes under matching concept. So this helps to determine the exact profit for a particular period. Okay. Accrual, realization, matching. Then materiality concept. Material means important. In accounting, material information. Material means important information. What is important information for a business? Any information which influence the decision of a shareholder, stakeholder, is a material information. Right? So materiality means the financial statements should give importance for the material items, and unimportant items you can merge with other items. So any material information, like examples, directors remuneration, we have to show separately in the financial statements. But small items, like if it is immaterial, you can aggregate and provide the total. Other expenses, miscellaneous expenses, we can provide as a aggregation. Next, consistency. Consistency means the accounting policies followed by the entity should be consistently applied. We should not change. We have to apply the policies, accounting policies, consistently without change. For example, we are depreciating the assets straight line method at 20%. So you can't change the percentage or the method every year. We have used the same method. If we are using first in, first out method for the inventory valuation, you have to use that method continuously without a change. That is consistency. Depreciation method, method of valuation stock, right? A change is allowed if it gives a better reflection. Okay, but normally you can't change. Consistency concept. Consistency. And number 13, we have disclosure concept. Disclosure means we need to disclose full and fair information to the stakeholders in order to enable them to form a correct opinion on the performance of the entity, to take correct decisions. So the stakeholders, they need to have a full disclosure of information. You can't hide the information by providing. Let's say the business is having a huge loss, right? But the company wants to get a loan. Company wants to get an investor. Right? So if they want to get an investor, they can't provide wrong information to the stakeholders. Let me explain again. Now let's say the company is having a loss 10 million. So if the company is having a loss of 10 million, they can't hide it. They have to show this in the income statement. Even though they are expecting an investor or they are expecting a bank loan, they can't hide this information. They have to disclose full and fair information to the beneficiaries. Right? So that's disclosure concept. Disclosure concept. Right? So consistency concept means there are some questions. Consistency means depreciation rate, the stock valuation method, the formats, right? The way you provide the information, you can't change every year. You have to follow the same methods, same techniques, same formats when preparing the financial statements. That is consistent without change. Right? So other than this, there is one more concept I will explain. You can write down. It is not given here. Substance over form. Let me take it as 14. Substance over form. Substance over form means practicality is more important than the legal form. right? The main example related to this is leased vehicles. Right? Practical scenario is more important in accounting than the legal form. If you take the leased vehicles, if we are leasing a vehicle, ownership of the vehicle, legal ownership of the vehicle is with the leasing company. Leasing company owns the vehicle. But in accounts, we have to show that in the lessee's account, person who is leasing, because it is treated as an asset. Because if the risk rewards and all the advantages, disadvantages are with the lessee, person who is leasing. Therefore, it is practically the asset is owned by the person who is taking the lease, not with the leasing company practically. But legally, it is owned by the leasing company. Right? So practically, it is more important than the legal form. That is substance over form. Substance over form. Right. So those are the main concepts, and there is one question. So matching concept, can you explain it with the bonus? To explain the matching concept. Right. Another example I'll explain for matching concept. Let's say this is year 2019. Profit is 100 million. Right? In year 2019, the company profit is 100 million. Then they are paying bonus for the employees. The bonus is paid in 2020. But this bonus is relevant for previous year, 2019. So the expense will be taken in 2019 accounts. Bonus expense, bonus for the employees. That will be taken in 2019 profit. So this bonus is relevant for 2019. You match this income, the profit or the income will be matched with the relevant year expenditure. Right? Similar to this cost of sales. And also depreciation. Matching the income with the relevant expense. So any other questions? So we did 14 concepts. You don't need to have in-depth knowledge on each concepts, just the basic introduction, the importance and examples. But if you know that, you can answer the questions. Right, last concept, the substance over form. So there are some doubts in substance over form. I'll explain again. Substance over form means, now let's say there is a person A. He is leasing a vehicle from the leasing company, LOS. right? So when we lease a vehicle, legal ownership is with the leasing company, but practically it is owned by A. Ownership is with A. Legal document says the vehicle is owned by leasing company, right? So when preparing accounts, this vehicle will be shown in financial statements of A under non-current asset. Motor vehicle, 110 million. You show under, this is lessee and lessor. We show the asset under lessee's account, not under lessor's account, right? But definition of asset says asset should be owned by the business. But leased asset, even though it is not owned by the business, we will recognize it as an asset, right? So that is why we say legal, more than the legal form, we see the practicality. Substance over the form. Substance is more important than the form. Okay. Any other doubts? Anything else? If you know this part, now you can answer any question. Right. So let's do some questions. From the A-level past papers. There is a question that means there is a controversy between the definition of asset and the substance over form concept. Yes, so rather than taking the definition, that is why we have this concept. So we need to first follow the concept. More than the legally ownership, legally asset definition is giving something else, but that is why we follow the concept. So first priority is concept. Okay, so 2018 paper, question number 1. Question number 1 and 2. Do that. Right, so let's check the answer. Which of the following statement is correct? Correct statement. Correct in relation to application of accounting concepts in preparation of financial statements. Equity is identified as a separate element in financial statements in line with the entity concept. Right. Going concern concept provides the basis for classification of assets and liabilities as current and non-current in the financial statements. Recognition of depreciation for each period in the income statement is in line with the matching concept. Okay. Do it. What is the answer? Okay, so we'll check the answers now. Uh, Question number 1. Answer is equity is identified as a separate element in financial statements. Entity concept says the equity, the owner's capital is a separately you have to show it. It's a liability, right? Going concern means we assume that we will continue the business for a foreseeable future. So that is why we divide the assets and liabilities, current and non-current. Depreciation is matching concept. So all A, B, and C. Correct. 5 is the correct answer. Depreciation matching concept. Check my example which I gave. Okay. Number 2. Okay. So remember, some transaction, we follow several concepts. If you take depreciation, we have several concepts, not only matching concept. You have money measurement, right? Accrual concepts, right? Periodic concept. Okay. So look at the examples which I gave. So mostly in questions, they will check those specific examples only, right? Number 2. Which of the following measurement bases can be used to measure the elements of financial statements as per the Sri Lanka accounting standards? Measurement basis. This is actually comes under measurement. Right. So here you can make a note in the book as well. There are different methods to measure the elements of financial statements: historical cost, realizable value, fair value, and present value. All A, B, C, and D. So it is actually we learned that under LKS 1 and framework. Right. So let me show that. So this is actually under the chapter financial reporting frameworks. So in that you have measurement basis. So assets can be measured. In four bases. There are 4 measurement bases. Right. So these are the 4 measurement bases. Historical cost means the amount spent. This is the normal method that we use. Current cost means the current market price. Realizable value means the expected selling price minus expected selling expense. Present value means the NPV, net present value. So these are the 4 measurement bases. But in accounting, we mainly account as per the accounting concept. We record the historical cost base. So next question, 2017. Which of the following accounting concepts provide the basis for non-recognition of employee competencies in the financial statement? What is the answer? Employee competencies. What is the meaning of employee competencies? Employees, resources, ability, competence. Now, we might have an employee who is with a very good communication skills. We might have an employee with a very good leadership and convincing power. Those are competencies. Why are you not taking these employees' competencies in the financial statements? That's the reason. Exactly, it's money measurement. You can't measure the employee competencies in monetary terms. Right. So next question, question number 4. Which of the following accounting concepts provide the basis for recognition of debtors and creditors in the financial statements of the business? Debtors and creditors. Yes, what is the answer? It's accrual concept. Accrual concept. Which of the following accounting concepts is most applicable to each of the situation given below? Okay, that is the answer. Indication of the reporting period of the financial statements. Reporting period, its periodicity. This is 4. Deduction of distribution made to owners from the retained earnings. That is entity concept. Dividend, the profit, entity concept. Measurement of property, plant and equipment at acquisition cost. C is going concern. Most relevant concept. Measurement of inventory at lower of cost and NRV. Is 2. C is measurement of PPE at acquisition cost. Right. That is we record the PPE and non-current asset at the cost. We don't recognize it as an expense. Why we don't recognize as an expense? Because of going concern. PPE is recognized at the cost, not as an expense. Reason is going concern. Okay. Next, 2016. So I will do this question, and the remaining questions you all can do. And if I will share the answers. If there are further doubts, you all can let me know. 2016. Which of the following accounting concepts provides the basis for classifying assets as current and non-current? So if this comes to mind, automatically you should give me the answer. What is the answer? Current, non-current is going concern. There are some examples in the questions. They normally ask that those examples only I gave in the note. Number 7. Which of the following accounting concepts provide the basis for recognition of year-end inventory at lower of cost and NRV? NRV. Where did we learn the NRV concept? It's prudence concept. Lowest cost and NRV the lowest. The future expenses will be recognized according to the prudence concept. Remember those examples. Yes, prudence concept. Correct. State which accounting concept is best described in the each of the following situation relates to a company. Tell me the answer for this. Reporting land at its acquisition price through its fair value is great, though its fair value is greater. So we have to show what is the concept. Check the answer. A, historical cost. Historical cost. B, recognizing depreciation of machinery over the period if they are intended to use. This is matching concept and periodicity concept. There you can have two concepts. Matching. Matching concept, mainly the matching concept is most suitable. Periodicity also you can take. B, going concern also can be taken, but most suitable is matching concept. Recognizing all the assets with a purchase price less than 5,000 as expense. What is this? This is materiality. Materiality concept. Small amounts we can aggregate and take. Not important. It doesn't affect the decision makers. Using first in first out pricing method continuously for a valuation of inventory. This is consistency. Consistency. There is a doubt to explain question number 11. Yeah, I'll explain. This one, 2015. Shall we do 11? State the accounting concepts that are applicable in presenting the information indicated below letters A, B, C, D in the statement of comprehensive income of Ahmed PLC. Right. Ahmed PLC. What is the accounting concept? PLC, it's a company. So the accounting concept related to this is business entity concept. It's business entity concept. Business entity. Next, next question. Statement of comprehensive income for the year ended 31st March 2015. So what is the concept related to this? Period concept. Periodicity. It's the time period. Periodic concept. Good. Rupees 1,000. What's the concept? Rupees 1,000. Money measurement. Money measurement. Then sales minus cost of sales. For sales, you match the cost of sales. What is the concept? Matching concept. Those are the answers. So there are 70 questions. Okay. Yeah. There are 75 questions. So today itself, try to do it and finish it. Now, since you have the knowledge, we learned everything. There's 75 questions. You can quickly do it. And today itself you finish this. Then the accounting concept part is done. Okay, so in the next session, I can focus on the preparation of final accounts. And so we did first 4 chapters, and this is the 5th chapter. Next we have is financial statements, preparation of financial statements. So under preparation of financial statements, I will explain uh, major areas in accounting adjustments, including this key adjustment of PPE. And so in the next session, we will focus on the accounting adjustments and preparation of financial statements. We did trial balance. I didn't do the preparation of financial statement because again we have to do it. So after the adjustment, we will do the financial statements. Then it will be easy for us. Anything else if you want to clarify, you can ask me now, or else WhatsApp me. I can give the answers.